a couple more segments left for the coach, Steve Fairchild, and we're going to give him a break as we welcome you back here at Beach House Grill here in Old Town Fort Collins. Beach House Grill, 125 South College Avenue here in Old Town. And remember, we're here every Wednesday night during the course of the season. No bye week this week, so literally every Wednesday night, 6:30 to 7:30, here for the Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show. We'll be joined by Pat Meyer, the offensive coordinator for the Rams and offensive line coach. He's made an appearance here at the house tonight. And Paul Madsen, one of the offensive tackles for Colorado State, is going to join us later in the program as well. Again, 36-34, the Rams get the victory over Idaho. And we'll move away from that just a little bit, looking ahead now. You get TCU coming in on Saturday. Is it a good time to face the fifth-ranked team in the nation coming off a win like this, or do you wish you could face them later in the season?
No, this is a good time, and I think we're very excited to play an opponent like TCU. We aspire in our program to be like them and to get our program to where we can challenge them year in, year out, win our share of games. So, this is a chance for our football team to play on the national spotlight, so to speak, and get a pretty good barometer of where we're at. Again, every game's winnable. And like I told our football team on Tuesday, I don't believe we have to do anything out of the ordinary to win the football game. We just got to play well. And, it starts Tuesday, and you put in a nice week of preparation, and you show up and you play sound football and then make some plays down the stretch, and you got a chance. So we're looking forward to it. But Gary Patterson, I've got all the respect in the world for he and that program there. He's been there 10 years, and they've done an extremely good job of coaching and really a good job of recruiting. They resource their football program like a program that's trying to win a national championship. And they're going to be they're a tough opponent. And like I said, good chance to play them and see where we're at. You
look at that TCU program. I remember going down there 4 years ago, and they were a top 15 team and maybe had 20,000 fans out to the game. They hadn't redone their locker room or their weight room there. Well, boy, now you get a couple of top 10 finishes, a BCS Bowl. They've sold out a couple of games already this year. They're putting in $105 million into the stadium. It just goes to show you what you can do when you start doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and it gets back to he's got that program where a perfect example is they've got a guy drafted in the first round off their defensive line last year, and a lot of programs would be thinking, how are we going to replace this guy? Well, they roll in with another player that looks to be as good, and maybe his backup's even better, and so they're just recruiting and doing the right thing and staying true to the course and coaching guys hard, and it's no secret how you get it done, and they've done a nice job. And like I said, we need to get our program to that level.
You talked about Jerry Hughes, who was that number 1 draft pick last year. What Gary Patterson seems to have done in the last few years, he recruits athletes more than position players. I mean, Jerry Hughes was a running back coming out of high school.
Yeah, no question. And it's like with us, with Davis Burrow, recruit him as a safety, and now he's a defensive end. But a lot of that's because Gary's, his background, even when I was an assistant here before, he was a defensive coordinator. He's good at what he does. He knows what he wants to do defensively, and when guys are good coaches and they know what they want to do, they can fit people into their system and make it happen. And he's a perfect example. Gary's very, very talented.
So are you saying when the defensive coach becomes a head coach, he takes all the athletes and brings them on his side of the ball?
Well, you'd like to think that's we're trying to do a nice job with our roster as well. We moved Gilmore over from tight end to defensive end, and Broderick from fullback to defensive end, and yet we've taken some guys like Chris Gibson and moved them to fullback. So managing a roster is key as well, and recognizing talent and where you can best use it. And we've got a tremendous staff, and I think we do a good job at Colorado State with that.
Yeah, we got to take a time out here, but Broderick Sargent, I thought he played another fantastic game on Saturday.
Yeah, really brings speed and explosiveness to the defensive end position, and that's been a good move for us.
Yeah, it seems to be learning each and every game, but he has been outstanding. All right, timeout, plenty more to come here from Old Town Fort Collins and the Beach House Grill. From Milligan Sports, it's the Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show on the Colorado State Sports Network. Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show continues tonight from Old Town Fort Collins and the Beach House Grill. We got a great crowd here tonight. Always fun to get everybody out here. I see Tom Millers, Gary Ozello back there.
Gary Ozello, they're all here.
Having a good time. You and I are up here working. They're back there having a good time. How do you like that? Andy Dalton, kind of the face of this TCU program. He's their quarterback, 33 career wins. Quarterback kind of gets all the glory. Why don't they give the left tackle career wins?
Well, the
left tackle has 34 career wins. They never seem to do that.
They give him to Gary Patterson, I know that. But Andy's done a good job. The thing with him is he's a 4-year starter. He's played a lot of snaps, played a lot of good football, and they certainly surround him with some good football players as well. And any time you can play the dominating defense that TCU plays, that helps your offense immensely. And I'm sure Andy and Gary Patterson will be the first ones to admit that. But they've got an experienced quarterback that can both run and throw, and he makes plays for them.
And one of the things that you continue to hear out of Fort Worth regarding Andy Dalton is his leadership ability and his command of the huddle, and obviously that's not an overlooked fact by fans because fans understand it's a big part. But I mean, how big of a part of it is that have a good offense, to have your quarterback be in charge?
Well, it's more of a fact that the coaches and the guys on the field and in the huddle, they got to have confidence in that guy. They're going to play better. Our offensive line is going to play better if they believe Pete Thomas is a guy that can get them up and down the field. So that's what you're really looking for in a quarterback. And the way those guys establish that, it's not just on the field on Saturday. They establish it on the field every day of practice. They establish it in the weight room starting in January and just all summer long with how they work, and that's what breeds confidence.
Yeah, I think it was I saw Ron Jaworski on ESPN talking about a quarterback's command in the huddle, and he says, you give orders as a quarterback. You don't ask your teammates to do stuff in the huddle. You tell your teammates to do stuff.
Yeah,
is that fair?
Truly leading them with what's taking place out there on the football field. You're directing that offense. You're everything, not just from the communication of the play, but the play itself and the tempo and how you're getting in and out of the huddle. And really, and not an underrated part of it's the confidence that you have in your eyes and your face and your demeanor, and you can't be timid. And those things you got to coach and you got to communicate. And we certainly got one on our team now. So bright days are ahead.
Special teams, they have Jeremy Curley, preseason special teams player of the year.
I'm telling you, he scares you as much as anybody on their football team. And we tried to kick it away from him last year, and he still ended up getting his hands on it and taking one back. He is explosive and as dynamic a football player as there is in college right now.
What do you do? Do you do anything different?
We don't want his hands on the ball.
Yeah.
That's number one. And when he does, we've got to cover in lanes and avoid blocks the right way and get as many hats to him as we can, because, like I said, they don't come along very often like this guy. And every time he touches the ball, it looks like it's something good's going to happen for them.
Yeah. That punt return he had against the Rams in Fort Worth last year, one of the better punt returns, more dynamic punt returns I've seen in years.
And all you do is you spend the whole week looking at yourself on Sports Center. So we've got to do a much better job of covering than we did on that one.
All right, we're going to give the coach a break here. When we come back here on the Steve Fairchild Coaches Show, Pat Meyer, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator. That's next from the Beach House Grill here in Fort Collins from Elegant Sports, Colorado State Sports Network. Few segments left here in the program tonight. The Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show, live in Old Town Fort Collins. Brian Roth back with you. Mentioned that coach is going to take a break, so we'll bring in Pat Meyer, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator here at Colorado State. Pat, how are you?
Doing great. It's nice to be down here. All these fans are. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. The game on Saturday, give me it from your perspective, standing on the sideline. You had the shorts on, as you always do. That was a fun one.
Oh, it was fun. I got pants on tonight, but I'm on the radio, so you can't see it now.
It's the first time I've ever seen you wear pants.
No, it was fun. I mean, obviously it was a much-needed win. Just the way the team played together, all three phases played together. It was a team victory, and it was such a good time to get back in the locker room after the game. And it's been a while that we sang the fight song together. Yeah. So it was a really, really nice deal for the whole program.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment. We had Kevin McGlue in the locker room at that point, and we kind of turned up the locker room mic and got that fight song over the air. It was fun. I got goosebumps when I heard that. That was a lot of fun. A lot of folks have talked about the offensive line coming into the season. You work with them. It's a young group, but I know you love the talent that we have here at Colorado State with the offensive line.
No, I really believe. I mean, I know we're going to be a very, very good group here. Hopefully sooner, than later. I know we're going to be very good. That group we had last year, I can't say enough about them, But when you look at it, we had 5 seniors and 4 of which were starters. I think this group here, as the season goes on, even the next year and the year after that, I believe and I know that group, if they continue to work like they're working, will be as good as that group we had last year, if not better.
Yeah, the offense started to get going on Saturday. Talk a little bit about what maybe was kind of the flick of the switch for the light bulb to go on with that offense and the offensive line.
I mean, we kept talking about it, and obviously, you can't talk. You got to do, and you got to perform. And we were close. I know we were close in all 3 games early on. It was a block away, a hat placement away, a read away from getting the run game going, which obviously we have to have that here at Colorado State. That's what we are. We're going to run, to set up the pass and do that type of stuff, especially now with the young quarterback and how good he's going to be. That's going to be big time. In the future, we'll set up we'll have the pass will set up the run for us. So I think we were close in those games. The kids focused really well last week. None of them hung their heads. They were into it. They were into practice. Practice was good last week. Going into that game, we felt confident. Felt that if it came down like it happened in the fourth quarter, we could get one in the end, and it happened.
Yep, and you went right down the field, set up that game-winning field goal. Talk a little bit about the chemistry that's needed on the offensive line, because there are 5 guys in an offensive line, but they have to be cohesive, maybe more than any other position on a football team.
No, they do. I mean, they do. And from a assignment standpoint, from a technical standpoint, it's probably the most technical position and assignment, oriented position on the field. That, and I would say quarterback, having to know everything. And they have to work together. It's if 4 guys do a great job, one guy breaks down just the littlest bit, a play could be a negative play. So it has to be that. And, we look at it, if they're good enough to play and they practice well and they practice hard, we're going to reward them by playing them. That's why I like to play more than just 5. One, later in the season or later in the game, if somebody goes down with an injury, those young men have played before. 2, it's a reward for practicing hard and being able to play. So we like to play, more than five different linemen in each and every game.
Yeah. Tyler McDermott, you guys moved him to the bench to start the game against Idaho, and due to circumstances, the Mark Starr, he's right back in there in that first quarter, snapping the football. I thought he responded well.
No, he has, and Tyler's done. I think Tyler's done a fine job this whole year. He's a smart kid. It's important to him. He's he's been a backup to Tim Walter over the years. He knows the offense, so he's a smart kid. And I told him before the game, I said, you're one snap away, and he practiced well.
Yeah.
I put him in the game before Mark Starr went down. I moved him in and moved West into guard, because I rewarded him for practicing well and doing that. So that's what they deserve to do.
Yeah, absolutely. How about the gentleman we'll talk to next, Paul Madsen, the junior offensive lineman? He's a big boy, isn't he?
He's a big boy. Paul's a junior, and Paul's I'm only a couple years older than Paul.
I know he's old. What is he, 24?
Paul's 28, and I'm 30, so Paul's a couple years younger than I am.
That means he's close to my age.
Paul's a great one now. He's very smart, very competitive. That's what makes him good. He loves the game. He's into it. He always wants to know, what can I do to get better at this and that. So the game's important to him. That's why Paul's a good leader and a good, smart, tough player for us.
All right, Pat, appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me, Ryan.
Okay,
Thanks.
That's Pat Meyer, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator. He has that raspy voice. That means he must have been getting after some folks on the practice field earlier here today. We'll talk to Paul Madsen, the junior offensive lineman, coming up next. We're live in Old Town Fort Collins from the Beach House Grill on the Colorado State Sports Network. Back here on a Wednesday night here at the Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show from the Beach House Grill in Old Town Fort Collins. Brian Roth back with you, and the junior offensive lineman Paul Madsen joining us. Paul, thanks for coming on board here. And how are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Feels good to get that win, huh?
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah, describe that locker room, because it sounded like a big celebration down there at Hughes Stadium.
Yeah, it was out of control. The thing that I'll remember the most is after the game, actually, I was just so excited. I ran up to Coach Fairchild, and I just gave him this big old hug, and I forgot that I had my helmet on, so I kind of bashed him in the face with my helmet, and there's actually a mark on his face still. But yeah, after the game, you know, we sang the fight song, and there was just a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I think we'll be good.
Yeah. Talk about this offensive line, because I know it's young, and you're one of the older statesmen at being a junior, and had a handful of starts under your belt coming into the season. But yeah, I know Pat Meyer really believes that there's a lot of good offensive linemen coming through Colorado State.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of really solid players. A couple of them are young, but they have a lot of energy, a lot of desire to get better.
Yeah. You grew up in California. You went on a mission to Texas. Back in school, you said you have 9 other siblings. You're 9 of 10.
Yep.
9 of 10.
Yep. Real big family.
Yeah. The oldest is 40. The youngest, you said, is 19. You're 24. What was that like growing up in a household with 9 other siblings?
You know, I guess what I'll remember most is just at the dinner table. You just have to grab food fast, and I guess I got pretty good at that.
Yeah. Well, you have an
I'm big
athletic. Yeah. Well, you have an what is the size? 6'4",
300.
300. Still have a little bit of a frame to put some more weight on.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, pretty good athletic background. Your brother Mark Madsen played in the NBA. How many years did he play there?
I think 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
So did you get a chance to hang out with him in the NBA at all? And
Yeah. I got to meet Shaq. I got to see his car, Kobe, met Kobe's wife. Then over the Timberwolves, KG.
Yeah.
It's a really fun environment.
So you're friends with Shaquille O'Neal and Kevin Garnett then, huh?
You know, I don't know if they'd recognize me, but I definitely have met them.
Yeah. Did Shaquille have the big Superman S on his car?
Yeah, he did. In the headlights. It was pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Good luck reselling that, Shaq. Give me an idea of this team. With this win over Idaho, you kind of get that monkey off the back with the losing streak. What's in store for this Ram team the rest of the year?
You know, I think we showed in Idaho that we could get the offense going, that we could get all 3 phases like Coach Meyer was saying, and I think we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to continue rolling on offense, and we're going to impress people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This you still have another year left. Mm-hmm. You're blocking for Pete Thomas. He'll be back next year. Describe Pete in the huddle.
You know, what I like about Pete is he has so much excitement and so much desire. I've never seen him stressed. I've never seen him worried. It's a pleasure blocking for him.
Yeah. You're 6 years older than him. He probably doesn't seem like he's 18 years old, does he?
No, he doesn't. He shows a lot of maturity, you know, even on the sideline. Like, he'll gather us up and be like, guys, this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, like I said, he's a pleasure to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul Madsen, junior offensive lineman here at Colorado State. Best friends with Shaquille O'Neal. We'll have one final segment with the coach, Steve Fairchild, when we come back here to Fort Collins on the Colorado State Sports Network. All right, final segment here tonight from the Beach House Grill in Fort Collins. Boy, great crowd once again here. Why not? Great place to come for great food, drinks, talk Ram football. Brian Roth and the coach, Steve Fairchild, back with you. Had a chance to talk to Coach Meyer and Paul Madsen. Had a blast with those guys, and
great.
You like them?
Yeah, just
great additions.
Pat. You know, I knew Pat when he was a player here, and I knew he was going to be successful at anything he did, and just couldn't wait to have a chance to hire him when I got here as the head football coach. And Paul's just a special person, and you know, he talked about his family. You should see that family photo. It's it's a thing of beauty, but. Great parents, you know, just pleasure to have Paul on the team, and very, you know, we put Paul on that weak tackle spot. He's on that open end, and he doesn't get a lot of help, and that's because he's a very talented young man, and he's got another year and a bright future, maybe even at the next level. Yeah,
but again, thanks to Pat Meyer and Paul Madsen for joining us here on the program. Well, coming up this week, we're going to be kicking off cans around the Oval. There's going to be a bunch of your coaches' wives are going to be out and about, but you and your wife Nancy, you guys are going to donate 10 cents to Cans Around the Oval for every person in attendance on Saturday.
Yeah, every fan that comes, I'll put in a dime, and you know, it was Nancy's idea, and we're so darn fortunate to be who we are, and you know, living the life we live, that it's you know, really kind of a little thing to give back. But I'd like nothing better than to have 40,000 people there, and we'll donate that to the food bank of Larimer County, and you know, we preach, and I'm glad Nancy kind of bopped me over the head with this, because we preach to our team about giving back and doing community service, and this is the least we could do. But I would encourage everybody to come to the game, number one, you know, and any financial support or canned food that you could do, and it's for a very, very good cause, and you know, I just hope that we get a good turnout here Saturday.
Again, coaches' wives and other officials from CSU, they'll be on hand Saturday to take your canned food and cash donations at every gate. So get out there, and then remember, Steve and Nancy are going to donate 10 cents per fan at the game on Saturday. Well, real quickly before we go, have a minute left here, and we've been talking positive the whole time, but I know we got a bit of bad news. Momo Thomas is going to have shoulder surgery.
Yeah, his shoulder had been bothering him, so you know, we elected to go ahead and have surgery. You know, at this point in time, he'll probably get the year back. You know, he played as a true freshman, so just it's like anything else that happens in football. Shaq Bell, some other guys got to step up and play, and you know, we'll move forward. But we wish Mo the best. You know, he came out. I saw him afterwards in the training room, and he should be fine. So. Anyway, we're looking forward to TCU. It should be a great game here on Saturday.
Yep, it's going to be a great game, no question about that. Well, we're going to have plenty of coverage coming up on Saturday. We begin our pregame show at 10 a.m. and then kickoff coming up at 12:05. Thanks to everybody that helped out with the broadcast. Charlie Grimes and Bob Greenfield. For the coach, Steve Fairchild, I'm Brian Roth saying so long from the Beach House Grill in Fort Collins.